But you are proud Midwesterner who's also kind of beefing with the East Coast right now. Okay.
And the Midwest. Dude,
Yeah.
nature doesn't start until you get to the Rocky Mountains. Sorry, guys.
Dude, what?
Sorry.
I will fight you on this. Southern Indiana, northern Wisconsin, and
No,
Michigan.
northern Wisconsin.
The UP?
Okay, you can get to the north. When you're touching Canada, I can hear you out.
Yes.
I can hear you out. If you get close to Canada, we'll talk.
Yeah.
We can talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Southern Indiana, you're nuts.
There is good fishing, and there's actually climbing down there.
Sure. Oh, wow. I bet it's incredible. That's why everybody flocks to Southern Indiana. Oh, I love that Alex Honnold movie where he climbed in Southern Indiana.
This is the Outside Podcast with PaddyO. Are you familiar with the term sandbagging? It's when a pal or significant other deliberately undersells the difficulty or intensity of an adventure in order to convince you to join, despite the fact that you're either new to the sport in question or woefully undertrained/unprepared for the outing. Imagine a seasoned climber taking someone who just put their harness on upside down up a multi-pitch desert tower, or a big-time skier taking their friend who's thinking about trying a blue square down a steep, powder-filled couloir. One of my all-time worst sandbags ever came at the devious hands of my wife, who convinced me we were going for a light jog in the Grand Canyon, and at mile 19, with several miles and thousands of vertical feet between us and the rim, my quads were burning so badly I thought my patellas were going to pop off like champagne corks. Getting sandbag is always brutal, but over time, these beatdowns tend to become funny, and the experiences can be plenty valuable because they reveal how tough we can be when the going gets unexpectedly rough. I always thought that the one rule of sandbagging was that it involved two people, one person who does the ass kicking and the other person whose ass gets kicked. But then I met a guy who just can't stop kicking his own ass. Stand-up comedian Brooks Wheelan. Brooks grew up riding bikes and tromping through the creeks in rural Iowa, and then graduated from the University of Iowa with a degree in biomedical engineering. But the thing he loved most was telling jokes on stage. So he moved to Los Angeles, got a job running a biomedical lab there, and pursued stand-up in his free time. That started going pretty well, so well, in fact, that he was given a job writing for Saturday Night Live. At that point, Brooks had to make a choice. Stick with the thing he was trained to do, the thing that would provide a stable, comfortable career for the rest of his life, or dive headfirst into one of the least secure careers known to man. Needless to say, Brooks stepped up to the plate and, after his first season on SNL, got canned. Not long after, shockingly, Brooks's comedy career took off. What does any of this have to do with the outdoors? Well, years in New York City and Los Angeles have instilled in Brooks a devotion to outdoor spaces that can silence his phone, clear his head, and reframe his perspective on life. And he pursues adventures in these places the same way he's pursued comedy. All gas, no brakes, and with an unflappable belief that he can figure it out as he goes. This approach has led to all kinds of mishaps, both hilarious, like the time he rode a cheapo, unreliable bike over Donner Pass without even knowing chamois butter exists, and terrifying, like the time he tried to pilot his own raft down the Grand Canyon without knowing how to raft. Brooks emerges from these experiences beaten, bloodied, and sometimes heartbroken, but always with an even stronger belief in his ability to figure stuff out. In the retelling, these stories are entertaining as hell, but they're also an inspiring reminder that there's real value in getting pushed out of your comfort zone, even when, or maybe especially when, you're the one doing the pushing. First things first, burnt toast. What's your last humbling and or hilarious moment outside?
I almost drowned, like, for real.
That's not hilarious at all.
No, but we rafted the Grand Canyon, did that, put in at least ferry, 230 miles. Me and some of my skateboard friends lied about our abilities, won the lottery to raft the Grand Canyon. Never been in a raft in my life.
And you went to the most premier whitewater rafting, arguably in North America or the world.
Yeah. So, no, and we up, man.
Yeah.
So I went in. So there's this place called Crystal Rapid, and
yes, very large.
Yeah. And me and my friend, we were like, we'll go out first. Also, we weren't scouting any of the rapids. We were running them, which is crazy to do. It's a bad idea. It was our 8th day ever in a boat. And there's a giant hole in Crystal Rapid. And I was like, he was rowing and I was up front. And I was like, hey, man, I don't think we want to go towards that. And then I was like, I feel like you're really, really steering towards that. And we just got
oh my God. Just
sucked in. Yeah. And this is in January. So the water was so cold.
My God, dude.
I put my dry suit on for this. I was like, we'll put a dry suit on today. And then it went in.
Friggin' God.
I mean, I would have died. Yeah. It's a really long rapid and the hole is at the top and it goes through like a rock garden. So when we hit the hole, we went sideways and then got flown out. And then we went under the boat, pulled through the rapids. And then I pop up and my buddy TJ pops up. I'm like, you all right? And I met this guy in a van last week. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And then our boat was stuck in that hole for a second. I was like, oh my God, the boat is stuck. And we're just getting blasted down this rapid. And then the boat got off. I was like, oh, great. So then we like somehow catch the boat and then realize that we're trying to pull ourselves up into the boat while going through these rapids and getting sucked into the boat again. And then I realized we're going to hit this boulder between the boat and the boulder. It's a big boat. It's a couple, it's like 1,000 pounds. And so we dive to get out of that way and then completely discombobulated and then just like no helmets, idiots. And
did you have PFDs on? Did you have life jackets?
Yeah. If I didn't, I would have died, man. Because I looked down and it had almost come off, and I ripped that guy up. It just didn't let up, like at all. And that's when I was like, oh, I'm the coldest I've ever been.
Oh my God, dude.
Since we were the front boat, no one is gonna catch us. I was in like 6 minutes, which is a really long time for that water.
This sounds awful.
No, and I thought about it too, because I also was like, oh, I always assumed I would die doing something cool, and I was like, I don't want to die. This would really suck. Drowning. It turns out drowning is the worst because you're very aware you're drowning. You're like, oh, I'm about to drown. Drowning and being cold and feeling stupid was 3 terrible things.
Here's the thing. I tend to think that for outdoorsy humans, stupidity is almost like a ubiquitous characteristic. Like it's pretty helpful when you think about some of the stuff that you do. The key ingredient, though, is that you kind of got to be like smart about how you're stupid. And listen, I don't want to start our chat off by like throwing you under the bus, but I'm just not quite sure that you were super smart with how stupid you were being.
No, dude, after that day, I changed everything. I mean, like, then our oar mount broke. It broke my buddy TJ's ribs. He went out over the oar mount and we broke the oar mount. So then we had to tie up to another boat. So we're getting pulled by Heath Kirchard, who's this legendary cool skateboarder who does want to die through these, because it's a class 8, which is pretty gnarly. And then we still had to go through 2 class 6s. Very gnarly. Yeah, 2 class 6s on the back of this boat. Well, with our boat being towed, after we almost drowned, like, dude, I had to make a mental decision. Like when I was floating, I was so cold and my muscles started like not functioning. I was like, you swim or you die. You have one like burst of life left in you, I think. Yeah. And like went, like grabbed a rock, pulled myself up and then just started dry heaving. And, dude. After that, I was like, we gotta start scouting these rapids, man.
Yeah.
Everything after that was better, but like they gave me a day off, like a full day off where I just laid next to the fire with like a space blanket. And then, we still had 130 miles to go and like a lot of rapids.
Just mellow stuff after that. Yep. Dude,
so that's where I was like, oh man, you're gonna die if you don't like look into some of this stuff.
So you love rafting, huh?
We won the lottery. We're going again. Yeah.
Yes.
It was great.
Wow.
It was good. Yeah. It is different.
Clammy. I'm sweaty.
Yeah.
Dude. All right. Let's get into this. Well, I know that you're an Iowa guy and you're an outdoors guy. Does that mean you're a ragbri guy?
No. If I have a week off, I'm not going to spend it in Iowa. Riding my bike. I will go to a cool place and ride my bike.
You don't like Iowa?
Not for nature.
I feel
not for nature at all. There's no nature here.
I feel like this is the thing like a lot of Midwesterners have. I am a devotee of Midwesternness. Mm-hmm. You kind of always talk smack about your hometown a little bit.
Yeah, but you don't get to. Nobody else gets to.
No, that is correct. That is correct.
What part of the Midwest are you from?
I grew up just outside.
That's a train because Cedar Rapids is still in, 1895. I'm in the nicest hotel in Cedar Rapids. The nicest one. And that's how close a train is.
That's cool. Did you get milk delivered to your door in a little glass jar as well?
Yeah, from the Quaker Oats factory, which is literally next door.
Oh my God. I'm already having such a good time.
Good.
This is lovely. So when you're a kid, your brother gets you into stand-up comedy. You actually start by getting on stage, right? When you're what? 19?
When I was 19 here in Cedar Rapids, yeah, pretty close here. This place called Penguins Comedy Club.
Okay, and then you moved to LA after graduation. 4 years later, you're 26, you land a writing gig on Saturday Night Live, and then you are promoted to a cast member with like a week's notice before going on TV for the first time in your life. Do I have this correct?
Yeah, I talked my way into the show. Like Lauren called me, like I auditioned to be on the cast, but I auditioned with just doing stand-up. And they were like, you should be a writer here. And I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't really want to be a writer there. I thought that I was like, I want to do it. I don't want to write on this show. I want to be on the show. And so like Lauren called me in and he was like, yeah, we're going to have you write this year. You're pretty green. You already know what you're doing. So we're going to put you in the cast next year. And I was like, I think that's stupid. I'm ready to go today. Like, let's go now. And he's like, but I don't know. And I was like, dude, I might not be here next year. You know,
so like, give me my shot. Give me my shot.
Things were happening well in my comedy world at that time where I literally was like, I want to go make my own TV show. That's really what I want to do.
Okay.
And I don't really want to write on Saturday Night Live. I'll be on it, but I'd rather be working on my own show. And then, so the next day came and he was like, we're going to put you in the cast. And I was like, incredible. And turns out he was so right. I did not know what I was doing. It was very much like the Grand Canyon rafting trip. I didn't know what I signed up for. I was very nervous. I did not scout any of the show. And I almost died every week.
Yeah. I mean, even though it was like incredibly intimidating, you felt over your head. Did it kind of feel like you were on like a career rocket ship? Did it feel like you were about to like blast off into comedy career stratosphere?
Yes, very much so. Also, the year I got on, the guys who had just left, we were the new guys. So the guys who had just left were like Fred Armisen, Will Forte, Jason Sudeikis, Andy Samberg, Kristen Wiig. So it was like, oh, you get to go do movies after this. Like that's like what it was happening at the time. And I don't know if it's that as much anymore. I think me and the new cast that I was with ruined that. So
thanks, guys. Here you go.
Yeah, you don't get to do. It's not a movie show anymore. You just gotta go do podcasts. Go camping. When you're done with SNL, you go camping.
Yeah, that's right. So was your big Hawaii trip before or after Saturday Night Live?
I've had a bunch of big Hawaii trips. I'm not.
Well, I'm talking about the one where you met someone in a liquor store parking lot. Okay.
Yeah. I met this girl in a liquor store parking lot. I told her she had cool pants. She had a shaved head. I thought that was so sick. It was real rock and roll. But she had a shaved head because she'd had dreadlocks and it had been riddled with lice. So
not shocking.
She turned out to be a Trustafarian, which means she was a trust fund hippie.
Yes.
And her family had a house on Maui. So like a week after I met her, we went to Maui, and I'd never been to Maui, and it'll blow your mind if you're from the Midwest. And we rented mopeds and drove around the island and took ecstasy and swam. It was incredible. And then when she broke up with me like a week later, and I was like, but what?
No, we're soulmates.
Yeah, I was like, I love you. She's like, that's not me. I go, what the heck?
Well, you've said that this was like a very pivotal turning point, this trip, that you've described it as eye-opening and transformative.
Yeah.
In addition to, taking ecstasy and swimming.
The ecstasy helps.
Yeah.
It did help.
But what was, aside from that, what was so transformative about this
Just
trip?
The fact, I grew up in Iowa. I grew up in the Midwest and, never left. Didn't see the ocean until I was 22, In Iowa growing up, going to Hawaii was what, millionaires did. It was unattainable.
Right.
And then to realize it's like a $400 round trip ticket.
Yeah.
And sure, we stayed at this girl's house, but I'm like, you could get a hotel there for $150 a night. It just opened up this idea that you can go see the world if you're not rich. It's still possible. And that's what I learned from that trip is I was like, oh, I can go see everything. It's not just for super rich people.
So the impact of that trip after you got unceremoniously laid off from Saturday Night Live, did you kind of use that trip to propel you into your next steps of your career, but also spending more time outside, traveling more?
Well, really what it was is I was a biomedical engineer for 4 years before I did SNL, and you got 10 days of vacation a year. That's
No.
not a lot. It was a really eye-opening experience where I was like, oh, this is crazy. And then so when I got to become a full-time comedian where I have my own hours, I do my own stuff, I was like, you can't take this for granted.
Yeah.
Because you're very rare, very, very few people have as much freedom in their life and still like make money. So I really just think about that. I'm like, I do have the ability to go see the world in a way that I don't think many people do. And if I don't take advantage of that, that's like a waste of this like weird career I created.
I know that you've described your childhood in Iowa saying like, I wasn't like outdoorsy just because like I lived in a rural area and like the woods were just like there. And so city living kind of was appealing to you. But I want to know like how much of your outdoorsiness back then in your, mid to late 20s and still today is kind of like an antidote to city living in places like LA and New York.
I mean, it absolutely, like, that's why I need to like decompress by going out into nature. And that's why I didn't do well in New York City. I lived in New York after SNL too. And there's just no place to go decompress. Like, no offense, but upstate New York is not Joshua Tree. It's just not.
Yeah,
it's not Yosemite.
Yeah.
Like, I really like the West Coast nature. It's just so intense and great. I was living in LA for like maybe 3 years before I ever went to like a national park. It is very just suffocating to be in a city when you did grow up in the woods your whole life.
Yeah, did it feel like smothering?
Yes, I was so smothered. And so then I started doing these trips. So the first time I went to Yosemite, it like changed how my brain operated. I was like, whoa, this is like a 4-hour drive with some of my pals. And then we're in a computer desktop background. Like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then Joshua Tree is 2 hours from LA. I started going to Joshua Tree most weekends when I was biomedical engineering, because I was like, I just got to get out of here. It resets my brain in like a really wonderful way. And it makes me like just stoked. Like, not, anytime something really bad happens or, get feeling depressed or something, I'll go somewhere outside, and just be like, you're all right. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Is that what you were feeling during your 30th birthday trip to Alaska? You said that you were kind of like having a rough time and you felt like, I need to get out of the city. I need to go somewhere.
Actually, this is pretty funny. So I moved to New York City with this woman. We got engaged. And after SNL, I just kind of got scrambled up. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever been fired off SNL, but it's really kind of, it's jarring. It's depressing.
Yeah, I bet.
And so, I was just,
rough.
I guess I wasn't like present, I was so focused on stand up and doing comedy and proving that I was funny that she was like, yeah, not for me anymore, dog. I'm out. And I was like, what? And so we broke up and then we started talking again, like as you do when you're dumb. And it was coming up on my 30th birthday.
Oh, and, don't pick up is calling me. Better pick up.
Yeah. And she was like, what are you doing for your 30th? She was maybe 34, 35. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the Overpass, which was an after hours, like cocaine den we all hung out at in LA. It opened at 2 in the morning. 2 to 6 was its time. I was like, I think I'm gonna have a party at Overpass. And she was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Don't do that. She's like, how about you and me, we go to Zion? And I was like, that sounds great. So we're like getting married again. Like, that's what I think about in my head. So I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And then like a week before we were going to go to Zion, she's like, I actually met somebody else. I'm with them now. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like, she was like, I still think you should go to Zion. Just, I can't go. And I was like, I'm going to Alaska.
Yeah,
and
I
so
do not want to go to Zion and think about all the memories we were going to make in Zion. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I went to Alaska with one of my best friends, this guy, Nick Rutherford, and we go to Alaska. We camp at Denali, and this is the first time I'd been to Alaska. So we were just up at Denali, which was, it's foggy the whole time. And I remember she had given me a belt that I wore, my ex-fiance, and I was like, I'm gonna go bury this belt like in the woods because I'm gonna leave her up here. And my buddy Rutherford, he was like, I don't know, man, you're stupid enough to fly back up here and like unbury that belt if she talks to you. I think you gotta like burn it. And he was totally right.
Yeah,
so I burned that belt.
Yeah,
so you gotta burn that thing, man. You'll come back. You'll dig it up. You'll dig it up.
Do you think that this was the first trip that you realized that getting out there in nature is a place that is like the anti-smothering, like it can actually like resuscitate you and revive you?
The first time I really felt that was right after I was fired off SNL. I had some shows in Salt Lake City, and I just came out a week early, and I just drove around by myself. I went to the Tetons in camps, and then I drove down to Zion, and I took the bus in. I didn't know anything. It was very much didn't know anything about Zion when I was just taking that bus in the first day, which also I was there like 2 weeks ago. Rent a bike if you ever go to Zion. Just rent a bike. Don't do the bus system. And it's not as hilly as you think. You're going to love it. But I was just riding this bus, and the train's back. Took this bus in and I asked this woman next to me, I was like, what are you going to do here? What do you do in Zion? And she's like, I'm going to do Angel's Landing. I was like, oh, sick. What is that? So then I just walked up Angel's Landing. We got there like as the sun was rising, like to the start of the hike. So just like kind of did this hike while the sun was coming up, and like got to the top, and I was reading Desert Solitaire by Edward Abbey, which I'll like go and read whenever I'm like in nature and like figure it out, man. And I was reading that at the top of Angel's Landing, and like sun lit up the valley. And that's when I was like, who cares about SNL, dog? Like, this is awesome. You're going to be fine. And that was like the most eye-opening experience. I'm like, just get away from the things that stress you out when you need to, you know?
So how do you manage that then? Do you like wait until you're like, oh man, I'm fully stressing out right now? Or do you like put things on the calendar to make sure like, okay, every 2 months, like I'm going to get out in the middle of nowhere?
I don't plan like 2 months out at all, but like I would say I'm on a solid camping trip once a month. Like minimum, like it'll just happen, you know? It was my girlfriend's roommate's birthday last week, and she hadn't been to Zion. So I was like, let's go to Zion, you know? It's like,
classic,
Plus I live in California, so many places to go. I have this Alaska trip booked for, you know, my birthday in August. So I know that's coming. My buddy's opening for the Strokes in Spain in October. So I'm like, I know I'm going to Spain in October. When I'm there, I'll do some backpacking and stuff. So I'm like, I know I have these 2 really fun trips in the future, and then just a bunch of mini stuff in the middle.
I think a creative brain is a pretty busy place, and it's pretty loud mostly, I think. And for things like your job or cracking jokes at a friend's barbecue or something like that is a wonderful thing about a creative brain. But a loud and busy brain can also be like really emotionally chaotic at times, or like really tiresome. So do you find your time outside to be a respite from that? Does it quiet things down for you? Is that why you dig it?
Yeah, I think so. I also really am, you know, dramatically addicted to my telephone. And anytime I can get to a place where it doesn't work, I like cherish it. You know, I'm like, I don't want to leave this. I don't feel guilty. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm like, if you just turn your phone off to watch TV, I'm like, I could have it on in case I need to do some work. But like, if I'm like, hey, I'm like out on this crazy bike packing trip, it's not my fault. Like, this is for me. Like, I love taking like tapes, like analog tapes out to cassettes and just like listening to music. I got a cassette tape, like a big boombox, and put it on the back of my new bike. And just like, I'm not even joking, just rode around Joshua Tree with one of my best friends, Carl Hess, listening to like Led Zeppelin in order on cassettes, you know, like 1 through 4. And I was just like, this is great. We're in the 70s, man. Like that's I just like miss the 70s. I wasn't even alive for it. I'm like, that seems cool.
When you're getting out of a trip where you've just been in the middle of nowhere for ever and you turn your phone back on, you have to put it in like another room because it's like bing ding,
dude,
like it wakes back up and you're like, oh no.
There was 9 of us on that Grand Canyon trip, no service, nothing. And also it was when Trump had just gotten the second election. Like we really didn't know if we were at war, you know, like plane we'd see go by, we're like, that's good, that's a commercial plane, that means society is still functioning.
That's like, the only sign we need.
We're like, okay, that's not a warplane, that is this. But then it took like, it takes like an hour and a half because you're coming out of the Grand Canyon but then slowly, sadly, each person who was so present and talkative for 18 days straight would slowly kind of go doing their own thing because their phone would kick back into service. And we're like, oh no, we lost Boosh, dude. Boosh is gone to his phone now. And then my phone kicked on. I was like, gimme, you know?
Yeah. Dopamine hit. Yeah. In listening to your show, Entry Level, I think what becomes apparent pretty quickly is that you do some like really gnarly, heavy trips. And do you think that you are someone who seeks discomfort, or does it sneak up on you? Like, do you plan trips for the purpose of grinding yourself into a pulp,
No.
or do you
No.
just constantly like surprise sandbag yourself?
I constantly underestimate everything I do. Everything I do, I underestimate. Everything. Saturday Night Live, the Grand Canyon. I'm like, this is going to be easy. Like,
so this is everywhere in your life.
everything.
This isn't just like when you have a tent in a
No.
backpack.
I was like, this is no problem. What am I talking about? It's very difficult. But like, if I'm car camping though, I make it real comfy. You know, I got an air mattress that fits in my back. I'm in a freaking nest. It is so cozy.
Yeah.
And then if I'm backpacking or going on a crazy bike packing trip, I just, I'm so tired that I'm sleep well anyway. And like,
dude,
it's great.
Sleep on a pile of cactus and you're like, it doesn't matter, bike packing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Part of the reason I asked this is because in an episode of Entry Level, you give this trip report of an adventure that you did to Donner Pass. You intentionally get in over your head. So I have to ask, like, why in the hell did you plan to bike pack for 70 miles in 2 days? And big question, probably the most important question, how much chamois butter did you guys go through?
Is that for your legs?
No, chamois butter is for your the fleshy bridge between your balloon knot and your disc.
Yeah, see? I didn't even know that was a thing.
My
God. See, I'm learning about this stuff. Yeah, I don't plan anything. It's the first time I ever, like, I was doing that on a single, like on a bad trek. Yeah, I did that on a $400 bike from like Walmart. So me and my friend Carl, who did that, we want to go to every national park and make a podcast called Harder Than We Thought. The Donner Pass was kind of like, let's go see what this podcast. Let's not burn a national park on it. Let's go do Donner Pass on these bikes and see how this would work as a format. Turns out it's really fun and really funny. Yeah. But man, it was I hated that trip so much because it was crazy. We did like, I don't know, 10,000 foot elevation climb with like a loaded bike and no chamois butter, it turns out.
Yeah, which is insane to me. But also bike packing is just like brutal. Like bike packing is so hard. When I see people or when I know people, hear about people that are like, oh, bike packing is my thing. I'm like, are you okay?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it if the road's good, but we were doing like this fire road, like up this mountain called to like Sardine Lookout north of Truckee, California. And I didn't have the tires, I didn't have the bike for it. And so I was just basically pushed a grocery cart 5,000 foot up this mountain.
This sounds like the most difficult hike-a-bike in the history of bikepacking.
It sucked so bad. And then we were so tired at the end. We were camping at this place called Bear Valley. We threw our stuff down and I was like, Carl, who I was with, he was like, all right, we got to put our food, like we didn't have bear canisters because we didn't think about it. He's like, we got to put our food up in the tree. And I'm so tired. I'm like, do we? And he was like, it's called Bear Valley, dog. Like, yes.
And I don't mean to like put you on the spot here, but what is it about you that's like, I'm just going to keep sandbagging myself. Like, I'm just going to continue on these trips, ill-prepared and under-informed and just show up and try to have a good time. Like, I feel like a lot of people would be like, I am going to be the most prepared person now because the last time I went rafting or the last time I went backpacking, I got rocked. I got worked in the worst way, and I never want that to happen again. But it seems like a day after getting home, you're like, I don't know, it wasn't that bad.
Well, it's literally like, I have the opposite feeling. I was like, well, I didn't die. I didn't look into the Grand Canyon. I didn't die. I can do that. It's like, it gives me confidence that I'm like, I'll figure it out. It'll get done.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to be great, but it'll be okay.
I hate planning so bad because if somebody, if like we're sitting somewhere and they're like, all right, let's look up what we should do. I go, or we go do it right now. Let's go. I'm bored. I don't want to look up what to do. I want to go do.
So what was the best part of that Donner Pass?
The Donner Pass was at the end of 2 days. So it was only 2 days.
Finishing? Is that what?
Well, I do mean like I got a fountain Coke from a gas station that hit on a level that made me see God. Because we were just drinking hot water out of a cow pasture
Yeah.
through a life straw, and I was like, I just want a Coca-Cola so bad right now.
Was that the worst part? Was it the cow patty water?
Yeah, man, it was just like, it was just brutal, just going up, pushing and then, you're getting in fights with your buddy who you're with. But the coolest part was getting to the top, the Sardine Lookout Tower, like being up there and like seeing where you could look down to where we came from. And we're like, wow, we came a long way. That's my favorite thing, is gaining perspective on what you did. Do you know what I mean? Like, like for my last birthday, I camped on Cloud's Rest in Yosemite, and I'd never been, and I'd always like point at it. And now that I've been up there, it just makes me appreciate it so much more. And I'm just like, it's so fun to be at a place that you've looked at. You know what I mean?
Well, on that Donner Pass bike pack trip, Carl, your co-host, your collaborator, your friend, was also on that trip. Did being with him make it better or worse? And I ask because he kind of seemed unbothered in the episode on your show about this, but you seemed bothered.
We like different parts of bike riding. I really like biking on a road. I like biking 100 miles. Like, I biked alone around Lake Tahoe. It's, it's hills, but you're always on like a paved road. I loved it. Carl loves like true mountain biking, like going over gnarly roads up really high. And he has a great mountain bike, and I didn't. And so I was so mad at him because he was in such a good mood and he was loving it. And I was having a nightmare time. And, he's my best friend. So I was just like, you gotta shut the fuck up, Carl. It was like in that Seinfeld episode where George is like, they go rock climbing, Kramer and George is like clinging to the wall, and Kramer's yodeling, swinging back and forth. Like, that was, that's kind of me and Carl's vibe when things get tough, is he's just like, it's going to be fine. I'm like, shut up. I was really happy he was there, because I would have turned around if he wasn't.
One of the tipping points of this experience, this adventure, was like your hatred of GORP came out. Can you explain why you hate GORP so much?
GORP. I hate the term GORP. There are two types of people who camp. There are people who figured it out on their own, and there are these dorks who grew up going to summer camps where they taught them how to do everything, and they know how to do knots. And Carl grew up going to this Boy Scout camp where they would give him GORP, and I'm like, what do you mean, trail mix? And I just got so annoyed he was calling it GORP. Because I'm almost 40. He's 42. And he's like, it's some GORP. I'm like, it's called trail mix, or just nuts and peanuts or something. I don't know, man. Stop calling it GORP. And he's like, I was like, what does GORP even mean? He's like, good old raisins and peanuts. I go, I hate that term. That is for, what are you, 7? Don't do that right now. And then he was like, I think it's also could be called grains, oats, and something.
Granola, oats, raisins, peanuts.
Yeah, just call it, hey, man, I got some junk. That term just bothers me. I think it's lame. Maybe you don't want to camp with me after hearing my outbursts on something so simple as GORP. But Carl in that episode, he was like, I don't think you're mad at the GORP right now. I go, that's true. That's true. I'm pretty upset about me and how out of shape I am.
Well, I think I bring that up because the thing that is really interesting on that episode is that you guys discuss using humor as a coping mechanism during difficult moments. And I feel like the GORP exchange is very hilarious when you're listening to it and not involved in it. But you talk about how humor diffuses tension and it kind of keeps the momentum going. Is this only when you're outside, or do you use that in your day-to-day life too? Is that a tactic that you deploy all the time?
I will try to get out of any sort of trouble I'm in by some sort of joke.
What do you mean?
Humor diffuses everything. If you can just be like, hey, come on, what are you doing? Are you really listening right now? I was at the beach not that long ago, and I don't know, maybe I cut a guy off and didn't realize it, but he showed up and he was rolled down the window and he was screaming at me. And I just rolled down my window. I go, you can't be serious, man. You're really overreacting right now. And he was like, he didn't like that. But to me, I was like, hey, man, if you look at yourself, you look nuts right now. I'm, just to be so unfazed by someone screaming they want to murder me, I go, really? That's a lot. That's great. You're going to go to jail for life if you murder me. You know what else I realized I did, though, that I was thinking of, I didn't look into it, was I ran a marathon without any training during COVID, just around my neighborhood.
Dude,
and I exploded my knee. I got iliotibial band syndrome. It's another thing I really picked up on. Yeah, I did 26 miles, 26.2 miles, and under the average. I had to beat the average for a marathon. Which was a bet I had with my friend, and my knee gave out at the end because you're supposed to train.
Yeah, lots of people train for those things.
I know. They make it their whole life.
You love off the couch adventures and just grinding yourself into a pulp.
It's fun. I don't have a real job. What else am I going to do?
So do you process things, like especially difficult things, differently because you know they might translate into material? Do you try hard things specifically because you're like, I don't know, like if it's hard and I succeed, awesome, I'll feel good about myself. If it's hard and I don't succeed, like I'll probably maybe get some material out of it.
I mean, I will go harder if it is for a bit or we're recording something. Like if we get to make this podcast where we go to all the national parks, I will really put myself out there.
Like, what do you mean put yourself out there? Like
I'll
try
climb some stuff.
Yeah.
I'll climb some stuff.
You're gonna free solo El Cap for
I'll free solo like half dome. You know, I'm not nuts. I know I can't do El Cap, but I'll try half dome. It's also kind of fun. Like I really like photography a lot. You know, I think that goes hand in hand with being outside. It's really fun. But I will like put myself out there to get a photo that I think no one else would be able to get. Do you know what I mean?
So it's like your version of Kodak courage?
Sure, it's exactly that. I never know that this was a term. That's great. Kodak courage.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know that we focus a lot about like getting absolutely like rocked and worked on trail or in backpacking or bikepacking adventures. Is there any trips that you have where you're like, everything went great and also this has been absolutely life-changing? Was it because of the people? Was it because of the location, the activity?
I would say last year, me, my girlfriend at the time, and Carl backpacked from Tuolumne up over Cloud's Rest down into the valley over like 5 days. So we're just doing like, 15 miles a day, and it went absolutely perfect. And it was so fun. And it like gave me the courage to, go do the JMT, really, the Jamir Trail.
Yeah.
Because you're on that for a little bit. And I just like, really learned a lot from that trip. And it was the best. I feel like I have one of those every year or so, just like a trip that is truly, I'm like, hey, I really love my friends and I really love like the people that are around me. And it's just, that's the best feeling in the world.
So I've asked this of other creative folks who have been on the show, and I'd love your take on it. Do you think that there's any difference in pushing yourself physically versus pushing yourself creatively?
No, I kind of do them at the same time. Honestly, like when I was working on this television show, and also when I was, working at SNL, anytime I needed a break, I would go run. And I gamify running. I run 3 miles. I'm always trying to get the fastest I've ever ran. It's ups and downs, just trying to like get crazy. Running is where I would like kind of come up with the ideas that I wasn't sure how to do. Or I rode my bike to work a lot, right? Riding your bike home after riding all day is like when I was like, oh, you figure out the stuff that you were stuck on because you're like taking yourself out of this like pressure. But I just think pushing yourself in any way is just good. I think, you know what I mean? Like, it's only good to be like, all right, I think I should stop. Let's not stop and see how that goes.
Well, you've talked about the need for endurance in both physical pursuits and creative pursuits. Do you think that one helps the other? How does like noodling on a joke and writing a joke until you got it and you're like, this is gonna absolutely crush the next time I'm up on stage? How does that help you when you're trying to like reach the summit on some terrible bikepacking adventure or backpacking or what have you?
I think it's really just problem solving. Like it's just solving problems. Okay. That's all any job really is, just problem solving. And all like a real adventure is problem solving. But like, 2 miles into the bikepacking trip, I popped my tire. I'd never change a tire in my life. We gotta figure this out. We can quit or we can figure this out.
Yeah.
I've changed a tire, but just like not actually like on a mountain.
Sure.
And it was, it's just problem. It's just easier to give up, but it's more fun to figure it out.
So I have a theory that I want to lay on you. I think the connective tissue between backpacking, camping, bikepacking, hard and fun things outside, and a career in comedy is stubbornness. I'm not trying to throw cliche at you, like about how the ups and downs of a trail are similar to a career in entertainment. That's not what I mean. But I do think that adventuring outside and working in the business of creativity requires you to be okay with a certain, sometimes sizable amount of discomfort. Things like lack of stability, financial insecurity, beating back, imposter syndrome, I hope the crowd is going to like me type worries. So I guess I'm wondering if you think that doing tough shit outside in your free time helps you do tough shit in your career and your life.
I think that's actually a really good point because I feel like a career in writing and comedy and creativity is like, it's very unstable. Like you can't plan for it. You don't know how to plan for it.
Okay.
In a real good trip, you can't plan for it. You prepare as well as you can, and you got to be cool when things go sideways. And I'd be like, well, this career is gonna, I'm gonna capsize in Crystal Rapid in some sort of stand-up way, and I got to swim to get out of it or drown.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up, it's like I
Yeah,
could go back
yeah.
to engineering, and that's drowning to me.
Explain that. Why?
I mean, I could go have a day job running a lab as a biomedical engineer still, but I love stand-up comedy. I love writing television. I like this career I have. It's harder than running a lab, but it's more fulfilling. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I could go run a lab, but I don't want to. Yeah, I want to keep rafting.
Oh man, this has been great, man. We just
Yeah, I
have
really appreciate it.
the final ramble right now.
Wait, can I wrote these down. Can I give your listeners? This is my hottest
totally.
take. I have a Substack about travel and comedy, and I ranked the top 10 national parks. And I want to give you my top 10 national park rundown really quick here.
Okay, let's do it.
This got a heated debate going on over on Substack.
Let's do it. All right.
All right. And I've been to every national park that I think I would like, except for the Cascades, which I think that one looks incredible.
Okay, copy.
So that's Cascades aren't on here only because I haven't been, but I think it would make it if I do go. Number 10, Crater Lake. 9, the Everglades. I like the Glades. 8, Joshua Tree. 7, Zion. 6, Olympic.
Okay.
5, the Grand Canyon. Big jump after I was in the middle.
Yeah.
Like I would have been 10 if I hadn't gone down it, because just from the top, it's fine.
Okay.
4, Tetons. 3, Canyonlands. 2, Yosemite. And 1, Glacier.
Wow. I'm honestly shocked that the Grand Canyon is 5. Why is Glacier number 1?
It's the best park in the world. It's incredible. Have you been?
No,
it's
not
the
yet.
best.
Yeah.
The best times of my life have been in Glacier. Me and my friends, we spend every 4th of July camping in Glacier, and like I dream of it. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Why? Because it's so vast. It's so the relief.
It's just
is
positive
so...
vibes. Everybody there's having a good time, man. It's the 4th of July. You're camping. Like, it's easy to be mad at America. Like, it's really easy to be annoyed with America right now. But I love America. I think America freaking rocks. And it's just, I'm so annoyed with what it's doing. Like, when you're in Glacier on the 4th of July with other people, other Americans, like having fun and chilling and swimming and fishing, you're like, dude, this rocks. It just makes me so happy about like the good stuff in America, like the good things in the world. And like all these people are so cool and so wonderful, and it's so beautiful, and it's so big that you can find camping there without reservations, which I don't do. I don't ever make reservations anywhere.
Not shocking. That's on brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I love that. There's an awesome take, a great list. Is it weird though that I also kind of want like your worst national park?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's Smoky Mountains. It doesn't count. It's done.
Why?
Doesn't count. It's a joke. There's no real national parks east of the Rockies, minus Acadia and Everglades. Everything else, they just felt bad for the East Coast. They're like, give them, which is, I looked into it. They're just favors. They're currying favors, like Shenandoah National Park. Yeah, right. That's a city park in California. Like, it's trash. It's junk.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow.
Freaking
this is
Smoky Mountains. Grow up. Get to a real mountain. Ugh. Like, realistically, what happened is they wanted these national parks to get passed. So to give these senators who lived on the East Coast something to get excited about, they go, fine, we'll make Shenandoah a national park so you can feel special. It's not a real national park.
This is wild because so many Midwesterners are just like so nice and just like will keep things like this to themselves. But you are a proud Midwesterner who's also kind of beefing with the East Coast right now. Okay.
And the Midwest. Dude, nature doesn't start until you get to the Rocky Mountains. Sorry, guys.
Dude, what?
Sorry.
I will fight you on this. Southern Indiana, northern Wisconsin, and Michigan.
Northern Wisconsin.
The UP.
Okay, you can get to the north. When you're touching Canada, I can hear you out.
Yes.
I can hear you out. If you get close to Canada, we'll talk.
Yeah.
We can talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Southern Indiana, you're nuts.
There is good fishing, and there's actually climbing down there.
Sure. Oh, wow. I bet it's incredible. That's why everybody flocks to Southern Indiana. Oh, I love that Alex Honnold movie where he climbed in Southern Indiana.
I hope Honnold hears this, and that's his next free solo, as he just walks up a rock in Southern Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So I guess, I mean, I probably don't need to ask you your hottest outdoor hot take. I think that was it, probably.
Yeah, the East Coast is trash for nature. Trash. You can lie to yourselves all you want. Oh, upstate New York, very beautiful. Vermont has some mountains. Get over yourself. You're just jealous. of the West Coast, baby.
This is awesome. So let's get into the rest of the final ramble then. So it is now time for the final ramble. One piece of gear that you can't live without.
I got a Big Agnes backpacking tent that I have fallen in love with in an unhealthy way.
What does that mean?
It means usually I'm really let anybody borrow anything, do what you want. And I let my girlfriend's roommate borrow that tent when we were camping in Zion, and I watched that thing like a hawk. I was like, "You set it up wrong." I was like, "You're gonna get a hole in my tent." Like I've never been so protective over anything in my whole life. I have a Subaru Outback that I like the day I got it. Drove into like a wall and was like, that's fine. I was probably gonna drive on that wall eventually anyway. But this tent, I'm like, do not get a hole in the tent. I love it so much that the bag rip that it comes in, and I've never done this. I've never done this. I'd be like, all right, I just got a ripped bag. I went on Big Agnes' site, found the bag, ordered the little sleeve. Like I got the sleeve because I just wanted to look good. I have an unhealthy relationship with this tent. Big Agnes, if you're listening, I will take another tent, please.
Best outdoor snack. If you say GORP here, I'll lose my mouth.
I did it.
Yes. Full circle. The callback. So good. And typically we ask for the hottest outdoor hot take, but I think we've covered that. East Coast. Sorry. Man.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
Move. You have free will.
Brooks, this has been such a fun conversation.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. I'll hit you up when I'm in Chicago.